I created the Beauty in the Universe channel to share my rather privileged experiences of travelling across America with anyone who wanted to see them. The videos were never terribly popular, and there were about 60, 70 of them, all with about 1,000 or so views and 100 or so ratings. Not a terribly popular channel. Until I put up the latest video on the Grand Canyon, which has evidently been targeted by our creationist friends with their vote bot, which adds about 150 one-star votes to a video. Now that's actually enough to screw over the ratings on the Beauty in the Universe channel. So strategically a sound strategy, of course, but utterly morally bankrupt. This is maybe the sort of behaviour we would expect of creationists. But anyway, in protest of this despicable behaviour, I have rehosted the Grand Canyon video on the Thunderfoot channel simply to protest this reprehensible behaviour. Okay, this is my attempt to explain the Grand Canyon. The first thing that you need to know is the North Rim, which is where I am now. It's about over 1,000 feet higher than the South Rim. Instantly, of course, due to Venom's argument that it's all flat. Now, there is continuity between the sedimentary layers on either side, but because of the uplift that actually happened about 70 million years ago, that's the uplift that caused the Rockies, and of course once you form the Rockies you then form the Colorado River, and that carved the canyon over the last 6 million years. Now the first thing you notice about the canyon, of course, is it doesn't look like a drainage channel. Drainage channels tend to be relatively straight and relatively U-shaped because they take fast running water for a relatively short period of time. This, with meandering courses like this, the Grand Canyon looks like it was carved very slowly, and it goes all the way down to these dark areas here. Now comes the second bit, is what's the origin of all these layers? Well, let's start with the dark stuff. That's the oldest stuff in the canyon. It's about 2 billion years old, sorry, and it's the Vishnu schists. Now, not a lot is known about the Earth 2 billion years ago. Where the continents were and such like, but this Vishnu basement rock is basically sedimentary rock that's being cooked in a volcano, cooked by the Earth's internal heat. Okay, the next layer that we come to is the Bright Eyes Shale. The Bright Eyes Shale, which is here, and this is just post the Cambrian explosion, so it's littered with fossils of trilobites and such like, and this is the Bright Eyes Shale. And then there is a period, so this is now the correlated history of Earth. So back in the Cambrian, a large portion of North America was actually underwater, and that's when you get your trilobites and such like. And then then there is a dry spell in America, and the big deposition of the Grand Canyon comes in this region here, where North America is still underwater, or this part of North America is still underwater, and so that's this region here of the Grand Canyon. And then later, after that, America rises above sea level, and the Appalachian Mountains rise here. And this whole region on the backside of America becomes a vast desert, and that gives you the huge sand dunes, which is actually part of Zion. So this is the Vishnu schist. Then you've got the bright angel shale here, then all these layers up here, we're now back into this region here about 200 million years ago, which is when you get these huge sand dunes that are actually mostly, about 50% of them is composed of stuff that has come from the Appalachian Mountains. And then much later, this is really very recent, there is another inundation where you get this Cretaceous seaway, and that gives you the rocks of Bryce and such like. And then finally, from here we go up to about 70 million years ago, which is where we get the uplift of the Rockies. And the uplift of the Rockies also uplifts this entire plateau, but because the Rockies have been uplifted, there is now all the precipitation and snow that falls on the Rockies, and all that water melts and carves the canyon over about the last 6 million years. So that is the story of the Grand Canyon. Okay, one last thing on dating sedimentary rocks, because it's a bit of a trick. Now, the one thing that you can do is, if you find microcrystals in the sedimentary rock, you can actually date the origin, the age of the origin of those rocks. So that gives you a feel for the age of the sedimentary rocks. However, by far the best way to do it is to actually find a lava flow, ideally in the middle of a sedimentary layer, which you can then date by the potassium argon or by one of the transuranic radioisotope datings. And that gets you an absolute age on a sedimentary layer. And you can tie that up with lava flows, other lava flows in the same layer, or the such like. So this actually gives you a way of correlating all the layers around the Earth on an absolute scale. And then you get other markers like the KT boundary, that's where this meteor crashed in. You get a layer of high iridium. So that's another way of sort of indexing all the sedimentary rocks together. The second thing that you can do is this is the absolute way of dating sedimentary rocks, is if you have sedimentary rocks but no lava, how do you date them? Well, then if all else fails, you look for fossils in the sedimentary rock, ideally rare kinds of fossils. So trilobites would be a terrible example because they live for whatever it was, 200 million years. Yeah. So you look if you can find a relatively rare fossil in this layer, and then on another continent you can find the same fossil, you can actually correlate these two layers together, because these layers all have specific origins. Some of these are from erosions of specific mountain ranges, so they are different on different continents, but you can actually tie them together in absolute age, firstly by lava flows. That's the ideal method, and that absolutely dates them. But if that fails, you can then actually, if you can find rare fossils in them, then that actually allows you to correlate the age of sedimentary rocks on different continents. Anyway, so that's just a little bit on dating sedimentary rocks. This is just one of those unexpected moments of beauty. So I've just come out from some huge thunderstorm that was over the Grand Canyon, and now I get the clouds, the storm clouds, uplit by the fiery sunset, and ahead of me the blue sky, still with the odd thunderhead, basked in the glow of the sun, the sunset. Things like this that really do make travelling interesting. Completely unexpected. I've just been battling through the dark roads, And now you get this.